try to be fancy and do a slideshow, but I could actually talk about this stuff in my sleep. So we're going to talk about relationships and why it's important to build your database, because this is truly the foundation of your business. I get this call all the time from agents. Agents always ask me, how do I get successful? How do I make more money? People want to know, how do I get signed up for leads? Because they think that's going to be the quick fix. Reality is the number one way to get business in real estate, or any business really, is through developing connections. And real estate's, I think it's easier than most any other business out there, because everybody you know needs a place to live. So we can help people if they're buying a house, selling a house, investing in real estate, they're leasing property. So truly the only people we can't help, I guess, are homeless people, but they have a whole other host of issues that we can't help them with. So that's just not our forte. But if you have to live somewhere, we can help you. I get calls all the time from people who are renting even, and maybe they're not going to buy a house, but they can definitely be in your database, and these can be people that can refer business to you. So that's why it's so important to work on your database and to treat it with the respect and that it truly has. So I want you guys to understand the long-term value of each contact in your database. You want to help you understand how to and implement being top of mind, and that's easy to do. You can either do it by paying a lot of money to have somebody else do it for you, or you can do it more hands-on. It's lower cost, but it's going to take a lot more of your time. Definitely want to use a CRM. Social media, client events, these are all ways to drive referral business. You want to organize and segment your business, because that's also a way to help deepen relationships and to strengthen your database. For example, friends and family, you may be sending them invitations to different events than you might send to clients. And then you're also going to have clients that you've worked with and done several deals with. Those clients they're gonna get more hands-on touches from you versus people that they may not even really know you. Maybe you did a deal with them, maybe they were referred to you, but they never turned into a deal, but they're still in your database, but you still want to maintain contact with them. So you don't necessarily the same kind of love. So I'm not going to be sending gift baskets to somebody that I sold a house to 5 years ago and they've never called me back since. But I might invite them to an event to try to reestablish that relationship. You want to automate and scale your communication and to maintain consistency, and execute marketing strategies and nurture leads to convert referrals. We can do that through a lot of things that Harcourts offers us, and some of the things that are available out there that you can purchase on your own or just do for free. And I do have a 30-day plan in here.
I was gonna say, is that something you're gonna go over?
I'm gonna give it to you guys. So you guys know who I am. It's just the two of it's a small group today, just three of us. But you guys know I've built my business on referrals. Well, you may not know this, but when I started in the real estate business, I started off calling expireds and cold calling. And that was a grueling business. My first 4 months in the business, I had 19 listings, and it was all from cold calling and expired. So I'd get into the office at 6:30 every morning. I'd pull up all the expired listings. I'd start dialing at 7 a.m. I just started calling. I'd book appointments. I'd book 3 to 5 appointments every day after my calls, go on those listing appointments, come back to the office, and then I'd start following up and calling the people who I wasn't able to get an appointment with, or for sale by owners who I've been nurturing. And back in the day, I didn't use a CRM. I used a card file, index cards with 1 to 30 in the little card holder. So on the first of the month, I called these people, and I worked 7 days a week. I was 24 years old, so I really didn't have anything else going on, no children, and I really had a lot of free time. But I got burnt out. Well, I didn't have free time. All I did was spend all my time selling real estate. But I had 19 listings the first couple of months I got back into the business. I had just come back from being a flight attendant after 4 years out of real estate, but my first 2 years in real estate, I did it part-time as a student, so it wasn't like I was full-time. When I came back, I was full-time and really gave it all my effort. But I got burnt out after 2 years, because that's a grueling, and it's not fun. I'm more of a relationship person. There are people who can just get on the phone and call every day. And if you're one of those people, that's great. That's one way to build your business. Those people also have to build their database. They're also calling and following up and maintaining a CRM. But the purpose of their business is a little bit different. My goal is to build longer term relationships so that I can do more transactions with fewer clients and actually enjoy the clients that I'm working with. And they trust me and they know me and they call me whenever they need assistance in real estate. Each of your clients, and I'm not talking just a name in the database, but a real client can be worth like a couple $100,000 to you. And I'm going to give you guys an example of a particular client that I had that gave me more than $20 million worth of business over the years. So your database, you want to think of it not just as a list of people, but it is a compounding financial asset because you continue to put people in there and you continue to build that database and build that relationship, those relationships. And it's going to give you back returns. And I'm also going to talk about why loyalty doesn't automatically convert into repeat business. Loyalty, I mean, like friends and family, it's often heartbreaking for a lot of agents when they find out that their best friend or their family member just listed their house with somebody else or bought a house from somebody else. And you're like, why? Didn't they know I was in real estate? Sometimes they didn't know, or they kind of knew, but you're not top of mind all the time for them. So I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So here's just an example, and I use this though. So the industry average is $8,000. Each client is worth $8,000, but I did it based on our current numbers. Really, we're not selling much of anything less than $950,000, and I used a 2% commission, and often it's 2.5% to 3%. So if you are working with a client and you're working with them 2 to 3 times, you're going to be, and you're getting referrals from them, that client is going to be worth close to $100,000 for you. I have a client that I probably told this story to Patty before, but I have a client from over 20 years ago now. I actually never even sold him a house. This is why it's important to have people in your database who, even if they don't buy a house from you, it doesn't mean you kick them to the curb if there was somebody that you had a good relationship with. So this particular client came to me, found me on the internet. This was back in the late 90s before, this is more than 20 years ago. It's like 98, 99, something like that, when websites were first becoming popular. I had a website. There were 2 real estate agents in the South Bay, in Redondo Beach, with a website. It was me and Lorraine Bird. So this guy finds me online. We make an appointment for him to come into the office. He tells me in advance that he's already talking to a friend of his who owns a property up in Playa del Rey or Marina del Rey, somewhere up there, a condo, and he's offering it to sell it to him for a pretty discounted price. But he'd really rather live in the South Bay because he lives in North Redondo. He's an engineer, works for, I can't remember if he worked for TRW or Boeing at the time. He wanted to stay in the South Bay if he could. And so he was very upfront with me. And I said, no problem. I'll take you around. We'll go look at some homes. We went ahead and did that. We looked at some properties. And I told him, look, and I did the numbers for him. I did the CMA for him on the property that he was looking at. And he's like, oh, don't bother. I don't want you to put you to any work. I said, don't worry about it. This is what I do. So I did a CMA for him on the property that his friend was going to sell him. And I pulled the tax record and everything. I gave him a lot of information. He's an engineer, so he's very, very thankful for that. And at the end of our day together, I said, look, if you really want to live in the South Bay, then I can absolutely find you a property in Redondo. We looked at several properties that he liked. I said, but that property that your friend is going to sell you, that's a way better deal. I said, you're not going to find a deal like that or that kind of a price here in Redondo Beach. And he thanked me for my time, and I thought that was the end of it. Well, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks later, I get a call from a guy that tells me, oh, Chris said to call you, that you helped him out when he was buying his property. So I helped them buy a house. Then at their housewarming party, I got referred to another client and another one and another one. I stopped counting at $20 million. Wow. And these clients have actually, all of these clients, this whole group of clients have become really good friends over the years. An expert in working with engineers, not on purpose, it just kind of happened that way. I became very good at working with them, and the rest is history. So a large portion of my clients are engineers, and it all stemmed from that one client. And had I just kicked him to the curb after showing a property and saying, well, he didn't buy anything from me, so forget it. This was all hard mail marketing. So I had him in my database, and I continued to mail to him. Every time he sent me a referral, I knew he was into wine. There was a company at the time. I sent him a thank you gift. I would send him a gift card. I think it was wine.com. I don't know if that's, It was one of the newest online wine companies, and I think it was wine.com. Anyway, one of the guys that he referred to me told me he was really into wine, so I did that. I would send him that, and eventually he ended up moving. He got relocated and moved back to the East Coast or something. And I was like, damn it, there goes one of my best referral sources. But by the time he moved, I was so solid with that whole group. Everybody in that group. If somebody wants to buy a house, you got to call Courtney. You want to make sure you are in touch with people regularly and you treat them, like you want to be treated, really. You appreciate them. I talked earlier about the loyalty gap and why clients don't return, because there are clients that they're friends and family that don't use you, but there are also clients that have used you, but they don't return, and you don't know why. You're like, oh, I sold them the house. We had a good transaction. Why didn't they call me back? A lot of it's a lack of follow-up. So a lot of agents don't have a good system for following up, or at the end of the transaction, they're so exhausted from the transaction, because let's face it, our clients will put us through the ringer sometimes. We're just done, and we just kind of need a break from them, and they probably need a break from us. But you've got to send them that closing gift. If you don't, they're going to complain. It just needs to be something. Over the years, I've seen people get really mad because they didn't get a silly little closing gift that probably doesn't even cost that much in the big scheme of things. But you want to show people that you appreciate them. Also, people forget. If you're not maintaining contact with people, and people aren't selling homes or buying homes, they're buying them on average every 7 to 10 years. So if you bought a house from me 7 or 8 years ago and you're like, oh, I need to sell my house. I really liked working with Gina, but I don't even remember I don't even know. I wonder if she's even still in the business or what's going on. That can happen. Or another agent will get in there. They start to develop relationships with other agents, either through personal relationships or through school. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. I had a really great client that was a good referral source for me, and I would give business back and forth. He got divorced and he married a realtor, so not much I could do about that. Only 27% of agents are consistently using their CRM. Again, that's how people fall through the cracks. In fact, I have a client right now. I sold his house, sold him another house, and when I signed up with this company called Fusion a few years ago, they had me go back and get all my clients from years and years ago. And this guy had fallen off my list somehow, and I re-added him to the list 3 years ago. And then earlier this year, he reached out to me, and we did 2 transactions. Then it turns out he owns other property, and he reached out to me because he said he started getting my stuff and he remembered we had a great transaction together and picked up where we left off. But I re-added him to my list about 3 years ago. I sold him a house in 2007. That's how long ago it was. He remembered. He would have used me, but had I not re-added him to my list, he probably wouldn't have had any idea how to reach me and would have used another agent. But because I was maintaining, I had re-added him to my database, and he was getting things from me every single month, sometimes 2 and 3 times a month. And just as a side note, I want to put that out there. Some agents feel like they're bothering people. You're not bothering people if you're providing them with good information. And what I do is I set up a schedule where this week, first week of the month, they get a newsletter. And I was doing my newsletters the middle of the month, but now that I'm doing the Harcourt's newsletter, it goes out the 6th or 7th. So on my calendar, I have the newsletter going out the first week of the month. The second week of the month, I'm doing my postcard. And my postcard has something to do with whatever the newsletter theme was. I'm doing social media posts all month long, but the third week of the month I'm doing articles and videos, and I'm sending those out. And I'm also taking the time to create blogs and video that I can use throughout the month. And then the last week of the month I'm doing the grounds for discussion downstairs, the coffee, where we're just hanging out down there. We're available to meet up with people and answer their questions about real estate. We send out an email reminder to let people know that we're doing that as well. So we have something going on every week. We're not trying to bother people. I don't think that we are, but they're getting it in different types of media. So if I was calling somebody every single week, that might be bothersome, or texting them every week. But if they're getting an email newsletter that they can read or not read, then the next week they get a postcard. And then they maybe get another email inviting them to come to this other event, or they see us on social media. We're going to be top of mind, and that's what we want. Be a little bit annoying than than have them forget me altogether.
Right, yeah.
This is one of the most important things that you have to do, and it is segmenting your database. The reason that this is important is so that you can target market your people. I segment them in many ways. First of all, I categorize them. I've got my A, B, and C. A, B, C, and I actually have a D. A clients, they're the people who've done multiple deals with me. They send referrals to me. Sometimes I do have some A clients who've never done a deal with me, but they've sent me so many client referrals that they're A clients because I've closed numerous transactions because of them. B clients, those are clients that have closed a deal or two. They just maybe need a little more prompting. A clients, you don't even have to ask them. They just think you're fabulous. They're your fan club. They want to tell people about you. The B people, they like you. They would tell people about you if you prompt them and remind them. C clients, maybe you've done a deal with them, maybe gotten a referral. Sometimes they don't like to refer though. There are people that don't like to refer business because they are reluctant to be responsible for the referral. I mean, sometimes I don't like to, there are certain people I don't like to refer to just because if it doesn't go well, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to listen to it if that referral didn't go well. And when I send a referral, I always let them know. I said, please let the person know that I referred them, and let me know how it goes. And that also gives you another opportunity to go and check in with those people. So you prioritize it A, B, and C for their categories. I also tag my people. So I've got, you could be an A person, but you could also be tagged with you're an attorney or you live in a certain neighborhood. So tags will help refine your database if you're trying to send something specific. For example, my neighborhood is Westfield. I've got everybody from Westfield in my database. So they are all, most of them are C's because they don't know me. I'm just farming that area. So they're all C's and they have a Westfield tag. But as I get to know them, a couple of them are B's because they're my neighbors and they've reached out to me for different things. Birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. You want to make sure you also put personalized notes into the database. So when you're pulling that client's information up on the database, you know, oh, they've got, 3 kids and a dog, and the dog, the kid's names and the dog's name, things like that. One of the things I always have struggled with, you always feel like, oh, well, how am I going to get more people into the database? It can be challenging sometimes because you meet people and you don't want to immediately just stick them onto your database. Unless you're going to business networking events, you can do that. I'm in Provisors. Provisors, you're not allowed to add people to your database until you're actually doing business with them. But lots of other, if you're going to Chamber of Commerce events or other networking events, I would totally add those people to my database. They're all in business, trying to get business from them. It's reciprocal. Having special events. I do my wine event every year. I always encourage people to bring their friends. I encourage the agents to come and bring their clients. And you can tell your clients aren't going to know that that's not your event. They're going to think it's more like a company event. They're going to see all those people there. So I always try to piggyback on other types of events or combine people so that you can have a bigger event. But events are a great way to get people onto your database. Open houses, social media engagement. People who provide personal services are great because they know so many other people. They're talking to people all the time. In fact, in my networking group, my hair person and my nail person are the 2 people that have given me more leads in the last year than anybody else. But it gets another person in your database, and then maybe that person doesn't work out, but they'll send you somebody. Sometimes you'll look back at a deal and see where it came from, and it came from, it's not a straight line from this person to that person. Patty, what's your favorite way to add people to your database?
You know what? I'm starting to enjoy just like soccer moms and stuff like that. Like people that I'm just having conversations with, and then it goes to real estate.
There you go. Everyone always wants to talk about real estate. Marketing strategies to grow and reactivate your database. So I talked about this brief already with my client that had fallen off my database. Last time I had sold him a property was in 2007, and then I added him back about 2.5 years ago because of the marketing company that I'd hired, and they had me go through and look at all the deals I've ever done. And so I found a bunch of people that, for whatever reason, had fallen off my database. Because sometimes you change your CRM and you convert everybody and things do fall off. So you want to make sure you keep it as up to date as possible. One of the best ways, I think, right now to get people re-engage is through Real Scout. So we have Real Scout through Harcourts, and you can just toss them in there and just see what kind of activity you're getting or not, if you're not getting any. But you'll also see, do I even have a valid email address? If you're still not getting anything, start sending them a newsletter, email newsletter, or even a printed newsletter. I like email just because it's so much less expensive. So things like newsletters, the magazine, we have a magazine, two different magazines that we use. I use one for business, which I send to attorneys, and I use the other one, which is more of a lifestyle and recipes, which I send to clients. I have one client that loves that magazine. Yeah, and the other one is Reminder Media. Reminder Media has several, though. They have a health and lifestyle one. They've got a home. They have something similar to the one that we do, but then they do a business one. I think they offer their magazine to a wider range of people, like insurance people and lenders and health, like coaches, things like that. Oh, we talked about this already, but things like client events. You want to do client appreciation parties, even if it's a small group. There was an agent that, I'm trying to remember where I learned about this guy, but this agent would do a dinner party. He built his whole business on doing a dinner party once a month, and it was for 6 people. And he would invite like 2 or 3 couples. I can't remember exactly the exact numbers. Anyway, he would invite people, but they needed to bring somebody to this dinner party. So you would get invited to the dinner party and he'd say, oh yeah, and I want you to bring somebody. And so that was how he added to his database by doing this dinner party every single month. And I think he did it in a fancy restaurant too. He didn't do it, it wasn't like a home dinner party. He got to bring his top clients in for dinner, and they brought a friend or family member. It cost him a few $100 for dinner, and that was his marketing deal. Referral incentives, giveaways. I also think you should reach out to other agents. A really great source for referrals, not necessarily in your local market, but outside your market. So Harcourt's agents, maybe reach out to other Harcourt's agents. Let them know you're here. We've had agents here in our office who've done co-listing with agents from out of the area. I just got a referral to an agent in Arizona for my niece. She's buying a home and she's sending me a listing referral. She wanted to know if I did business in somewhere in the valley. I'm like, sure I do. Of course. Take a listing anywhere. I don't care. Let's see. Lead magnets and landing pages to attract prospects to your database. I'm not really a big fan of stuff like that, but people do it. If you're going to be doing door knocking, I do think it's a good idea to have something to hand out. Calendars, magnets, pens, whatever. Whatever you're going to hand out, make sure that it has your information on it. The reason you want to focus on your database, the return on investment is so much higher than it's going to be on getting cold leads. I mean, we can all sign up for Zillow leads and pay $5,000 a month, but the reality is online leads take 18 months to nurture. You can get lucky and get one to convert sooner than that, but on average, industry standard is 18 months. They're very expensive. They can also sell you fake leads, a email and social content calendar to help you guys if you're kind of stuck. And then I've also got a follow-up script in there. Email, social media, direct DM templates. Again, super simple stuff, but sometimes we get frozen and don't do anything because we're like, oh, what do I say? What do I do? This will just tell you what to say, and just do it. And that's pretty much it. So again, your database is not just a contact list. It's your most important and most powerful business asset. When you nurture the relationships you've already built, you unlock a compound effect of repeat business, referrals, and long-term loyalty. So use this toolkit not as just a one-time exercise, but keep repeating it as a system to grow your business, deepen trust, and stay on top of mind in the moments that matter. Whether you're following up with past clients or posting your next marketing tip, every touch point builds equity in your business. Start with one step today and commit to showing up consistently to the people who already believe in you. And that's it. Short and sweet.